Okay, we are recording and streaming. Okay, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining the City of Kingston Planning Board meeting at our monthly meeting. Today is Monday, June 21st, 2021. My name is Suzanne Cahill. I am the Planning Director for the City of Kingston and the organizer for our virtual meeting. Before we begin our meeting, I would like to go over a few meeting guidelines to help us navigate the system as efficiently and respectfully as possible. We ask that members of the public and the press remain muted and off camera for the length of the meeting. As the organizer, I reserve the right to mute anyone who unmutes themselves. Board members and city staff will control their own mute button. As good practice, we ask that you mute yourself if you are not speaking to avoid background noise and feedback. If a board member or staff wishes to speak, they will raise their hand. The chairperson will call on them before they speak by stating their name clearly for our audio listeners. The board member will then mute themselves, state their name, and speak clearly, muting after finished. All of our meetings are recorded. Both video and written transcriptions will be made available to the public on the city website at a later date. The meeting is also being live streamed on the City of Kingston YouTube channel. In lieu of public speaking during the monthly meeting, we requested all comment to be received by 2 p.m. on Friday, June 18th, 2021. Comments could have been emailed to Suzanne Cahill, Planning Director at skahill@kingston-ny.gov, mailed or placed in the drop box outside of City Hall. Any written comments would have been posted, but we have not received any. We do ask persons that are wishing to speak to contact us right now. Oh, no, we're not having a public hearing, so excuse me. No, wait a minute. If you wish to speak at a public hearing and are joining by audio and did not pre-register but wish to speak for a hearing matter, please text the following number, 845-443-0416 with your name and the agenda item number and address. Again, please text your name and the item number and address of the public hearing you wish to speak on to 845-443-0416 if you wish to be called to speak for a public hearing. If you do have any audio issues, please send a text message to that same number, 845-443-0416. I will repeat the number again, but be aware that phone calls will not be answered during the meeting. The number again to text is 845-443-0416. As the organizer for today's meeting, I reserve the right to lock and pause the meeting to reject anyone who has behaved inappropriately or to enter into attorney-client conference if needed. Materials for this meeting may be found on the City of Kingston website by going to www.kingston-ny.gov. Once you're on the homepage, click on the Government and Services tab, select Planning Board projects or Planning Projects, and then Planning Board. Thank you for your patience during these difficult times, and on behalf of the Planning Board, I wish you and your family good health. I now turn the floor over to Chairman Wayne Platt to call the meeting to order at 6:05 p.m.
Thank you, Suzanne. Welcome, everybody, to the June 21st, 2021 Planning Board meeting. Introductions, as Sue said, my name is Wayne Platt Jr. I'm the chairman. We also have Vice Chairman Charles Polacco.
Good evening.
Matt Gillis. Kevin Roach.
Here.
Emily Hamilton. And our newest member is Sage Newkirk. Welcome.
And Vince did join us.
Okay. And Vince Archer is here. Is Sage unmuted?
I'm here.
Hi there. You want to give us, hi there, welcome. You want to give us a little background on you or just a little blurb? Welcome,
Sure.
We're gonna welcome you here. So
Thank you. I've been a resident of Kingston for the last 15 years. This is my first planning board meeting, fairly new to the team. So I'm just excited to join everybody and looking forward to being part of the group.
well, welcome aboard. We're glad to have you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, we have continuing with introductions. We have Suzanne Cahill, obviously, is the planning director. Kyla D-Day is remote also, and she is the assistant planner. We also have Alderman Don Tollerman, who's the Common Council liaison to the planning board. and also Assistant Corporation Counsel Daniel Gartenstein. Item number 1 on our agenda is adoption of the May 17th, 2021 Planning Board meeting transcripts and and decisions. Everybody has received a copy of them. Any comments, deletions, additions at all? Everybody good? All right. This is Wayne Platt. I make a motion that we adopt the May 17th, 2021 Planning Board minutes. And do I have a second on that?
Chuck Palacco, second.
Second by Chuck Palacco. All in favor? Wayne Platt as a yes. Charles Palacco.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Kevin Roach.
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, Vince, you're in tonight because Rob is out. He's not going to be making it tonight, okay?
Okay.
All right, pal. Good to see you. All right, that is adopted. Moving on to public hearings. Item number 2 is 670 Broadway. It's a special permit renewal for an apartment in the C2 Mixed Use Overlay District. Section block and lot is 56.25-1-19. Seeker determination, Zone C2. It's in the Mixed Use Overlay District, Broadway Overlay District. Ward 4, Rosa P. Merchant Ayavaca is the applicant owner. Is there anybody besides, we are in public hearing, so is there anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 2? Nobody, Sue? Okay.
I have nobody.
All right. Who do we have representing?
Sonia Wright is here representing.
Hello,
Okay,
everyone.
welcome.
Hi. Thank you, everyone, for having me. Representing Rosa.
Okay.
She's a long lifetime friend. And her apartment still has 3 bedrooms on the second floor, 2 bathrooms. The first floor has a storefront and 1 bathroom. And this is, in my eyes, a pretty straightforward, just a renewal permit.
Okay.
So,
And the verbiage in our staff notes is so small that you're probably right on spot on. There's nothing really big going on that would prevent us from doing that. So, anything jump
nothing
out of
has
this thing for
changed.
that? No?
No,
Okay.
we have, there are no issues. Periodic inspections are being done with the building department. They didn't have anything to report. The only comment from staff would be that since the original approval was granted, there have been a couple of new board policies that we think should be tacked on. One would
Okay.
be carbon monoxide detectors, and the other would be a Knox box. If they do not have either of those, they should be added.
Okay. And I know the original term was for 5 years. You feel confident that's another term to have? Sue?
I do, yes.
How does the rest of the board, thumbs up or thumbs down on that? All right, everybody's good. Okay. So a determination of environmental significance will need to be rendered. It is a type 2 under seeker. So no further review of the board is required at this time. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 2 for a period of 5 years with all the original conditions carried forward, and also with the addition of a Knox box and carbon monoxide detectors, and they maybe already have been installed. So that is a motion. This is Wayne Platt. Do I have a second on that?
Matt seconds.
Matt Gillis has a second on that. Okay, all in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palacco?
Is a yes.
Matt Gillis?
Yes.
Kevin Roach?
Yes.
And Vince Archer?
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. Sonia, thank you very much for showing.
thank you, everyone. It was nice seeing you.
All right, have a
Bye.
good night. Bye-bye. Okay, item number 3 is 124 Green Street. It's a special permit to reestablish a second floor apartment in the C2 Mixed Use Overlay District. Section block and lot is 48.330-3-20. Seeker determination, Zone C2. It's in the Mixed Use Overlay District, Ward 2. Kavia Corporation is the applicant owner. Anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 3?
We have nobody, Wayne.
Okay,
No, it's me, Andrea.
Well, nobody from the public at the hearing.
Sorry,
yeah. Hi, Andrea, how are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing, Wayne?
Good. So this was originally granted, what year was this, Sue? Like 2013?
No,
Oh, it's not
2013.
moving forward. Okay. And now you're looking to go back to having a similar
Yes,
installation, right?
yes, please.
You want to just give us a little overview of that, or?
Well, I used the whole building as my psychotherapy office. Presently, because of COVID, most of the therapists are not working from the office, but they are working from home. So therefore, I would like to make it a good use also to use the upstairs as a residence.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay, no questions. Staff, how are we doing there?
Everything is okay. The transfer back to the residential does not trigger anything with the parking issue. So it's really just setting up the term. In the mixed use overlay, the initial term has to be for 1 year. After
Okay.
that, it can be extended. And we would recommend board policies 6, 17A, 22, 25, and 26. So you would have the compliance certification, landlord registration, carbon monoxide, Knox Box, and the building safety division getting the permits in time.
Okay, what were those policies again, Sue? I'm sorry.
6, 17A, 22, 25, and 26.
Okay. Everybody concurs with staff on that? Okay. Under seeker, this is a type 2 action again, so no further review of the board is required at this time. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 3 for a period of 1 year with board policies 6, 17A, 22, 25, and 26 applied. This is Wayne Platt making that motion. Do I have a second?
Second, Kevin Roach.
Second by Kevin Roach. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
and Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that is adopted then. Andrea, thank you for showing up tonight. We'll see you in a year, okay?
Okay, thank you.
All right, take care. Okay, moving on to item number 4 is 37 John Street. It's a special permit amendment to add additional cellular antennas and equipment. Section block and lot is 48.331-2-18. Seeker determination, zone C2. It's in Heritage area. It's also in the Stockade Historic District. Ward 2, T-Mobile Northeast LLC is the applicant. Rupco is the owner. Is there anybody besides the owner or applicant wishing to speak on item number 4?
We do not have anyone wishing to speak. We spoke earlier. We have received all of the required paperwork to back up the application after we spoke. We got it this afternoon. So we are good. And Denise Sabo is here to represent the applicant.
Okay. Welcome, Denise.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for having me.
Thanks for showing. I have an illustration here on my notes here. You just want to give me an idea what's planned for this?
Absolutely. So there's currently on the rooftop, there are 6 existing antenna, 9 of what we call RRU or remote radio units. They sit either below or behind the antenna, and they support with speed and technology to the radio cabinets that are stationed a little further away. And there's fiber lines, and then there's 2 radio cabinets. And what they're looking to do is upgrade the technology. So they would literally be replacing all of that. They would be replacing the 6 antenna with 6 new.
Okay.
The 9 RRU with 9 new RRU, new technology, and 3 fiber lines with 3 updated fiber lines, and then the 2 cabinets that are there would be replaced with two. They're actually smaller, two smaller cabinets.
Okay.
Something that I did fail to leave off of the application that I submitted, it's in the drawings, but I didn't physically write it in, is for safety reasons, they're proposing to add a safety ladder that gets them up to the equipment. Right
Mhm.
now, they're climbing out the hatch and they bring a step ladder. For safety
Okay.
reasons, they like to physically attach one to the side of the building there.
Okay.
And that's really the only difference from what's there now.
Okay. So, I mean, you can probably just make, amend your drawing it or, you said it's already on there?
It's on the drawing, yes, sir. So
Okay.
it's on the drawing.
Yeah, Wayne, we've identified it. It's benign, really. I mean, it's
Okay.
not visible from the street. There's also, I think, Denise, there's a small railing that's going to be put up around the new
It's
equipment.
attached to the ladder. It's like a little safety
Right.
ladder. Yep.
Okay. All right. Sounds pretty straightforward. Any questions from the board? No?
No questions.
Okay. Sue, the previous, I see the notes on here, a term will need to be considered. What was the last term that they had? You wanted it to coincide with the renewal on that. Is that, am I reading that correct?
Yeah, I don't have that. If you
Okay.
would have to look that up.
But it's, we can just make a note of that
that it
I'm good with that. I
coincides.
think that makes sense. That makes sense.
Wayne, this is Kyla.
Hi there.
I think it actually coincided with the lease.
Okay.
And I believe there was not a term. It just was coincided with the lease. And then if there were any changes in the size, it was going to come back.
Okay.
I may have worded that wrong.
Okay. If the rest of the board is good with that, I'm okay with not setting a term and just, having the applicant come back if there's any changes to the installation up there. Is everybody good with that?
This is Kevin. That's good.
Okay. So under C.
Are you talking a current lease, Wayne, or if they renew the lease?
Whatever, I think it's the lease that they have with Rupco, with the building. Yeah, if there's any changes to ownership or there's additional instruments attached or installed on this, they would have to come back to the planning board for approval. So are you good with that?
I'm good with that. I just didn't know if they renew the lease for 10 years. Does that mean this is good for 10 years?
Well, I'm inclined to not even set a term on it. Just they would have to come back if there's changes to what is there right now.
Oh, okay.
All right, you good with that?
I'm good with that, sir.
Okay. All right. And as Sue said, it's not visible from the street, so it did not need any review from landmarks or heritage area. So under seeker, it's an unlisted action. Kyla, you have, or Sue, you have all that paperwork's in order?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
All right. So at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve the seeker short form, and this is Wayne Platt. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Charles Palaco. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
and Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, so that is approved. Now at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 4 with board policy 6 to be signed. And also the term is, there will be no term. And if there's any changes to equipment or the carrier that, or ownership, that the applicants will have to come back to address those changes with a new application. Does that sound good, Sue?
Well, I would say, yeah, I would just make it say coincide with active lease and any carrier changes or equipment changes return. So I
Okay.
would say that it would coincide with the active lease.
Okay, we'll add that in there as well. So that is a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Second, Kevin.
Second, Kevin Roach. All in favor. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
and Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that item number 4 is adopted. Denise, thank you so much for showing.
Thank you very much. Thank you all. Have a
Okay,
good
have a
evening.
good evening.
Take
All
care.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, moving on to item number 5. It's 105-107 Henry Street, special permit renewal for a multidisciplinary arts center with gallery space, exhibition and educational space, and administrative offices. Section block and lot is 56.108-4-27, seeker determination, zone R2, Ward 4, Alan Baer, architect applicant, Transart is the owner. Sue, do we have anybody besides Alan here to speak on item number 5?
I don't believe so. I believe Alan is the only one here, correct, Alan?
I believe so, yes.
Okay,
Okay. Hi, Alan. How are you?
Good. How are you, Wayne?
Good to see you.
Likewise.
Lots of great things happening over there, right?
Yeah, we're excited.
Do you want to give us an update where you are with stuff?
This just mirrors our narrative, but in a nutshell, all the restoration is proceeding along, at least. Well, let's just talk about the outside. The porches are taking shape. Whoops. Okay. Thank you. Now I see what's going on. Okay, so yeah, our porches are in good shape. We still have a tiny postage stamp of a rear porch to execute next to the silo. It's only a 5x5 area. We have our silo housing in for the future lift. The barge board trims are in. Stained glass has been restored. Our new windows are in. The roof work is proceeding. It's at a slower rate than we hoped, but it is getting done. Actually, just a few days ago, the front porch roof finally went on. We're getting all of our services established. I believe tomorrow is the day finally that exterior HVAC units go in. Everything is in on the inside. I should say roughed in, meaning ductwork and all equipment. The foam insulation is in. The wood floors have been mostly restored. We still await installation for our cement tiles in the wet areas. And then upcoming in the near future are things like the final parking area paving. Some bluestone sidewalls are being extended, finishing off the ADA ramp. We will have a green screen border around the perimeter, I should say on the north and east sides. We still are waiting to execute our trellis at the very end. And of course, landscaping. The elevator people have requested that they install pretty close to the end. That was their request. We said, okay. And then a lot of the exterior finishing, meaning moldings and cabinetry are yet to go in. But we're considering COVID was a major deterrent to getting anything done. We're happy that we are where we are, and we look forward to opening next spring.
Okay. And as the schedule is going, I'm looking forward in my notes here. Your spring of 2022, right? You're on target for that.
Yes, we're looking good for that. Yeah.
Okay, good. Okay. Any questions from the board?
This is Matt here. It's just nice to see all this progress. It looks like beautiful work.
Thank you. Thank you. We're happy with all of our craftspeople. The GC has been awesome, and we have really wonderful subs to work with. this is a really tight space to work in, and getting all the systems to coexist has been a major juggle, but we're getting it done. We're having it.
And Greer is still deeply involved with this, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Every day, we almost
Okay.
every day we talk, yeah.
Good. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. The original permit was for 1 year. Are we bound to that, Sue? We're not bound to that, right?
No, you're
Okay.
not. And, outside, I mean, because of the progress and the anticipated opening in spring of 22, I think staff would be recommending that all the originals be carried forward. And in order to give them some time to open up and start operating, we would look at a term for maybe like a year and 3 months, so that they would come back in September of 22. And that way they will have been operational, everything would be complete. And at that point, if everything's on target, I think we can go for a much longer period of time.
I think that sounds good. Is everybody good with that?
Sounds good.
Okay, good. Under seeker, this is a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required at this time. So at this time, I'll make a motion that we approve item number 5 with all original conditions carried forward and a renewal of the permit to extend until September of 2022. That's a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Matt seconds.
Matt Gillis is a second. All in favor, Wayne Flattery, yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
and Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. Alan, thank you so much for showing tonight.
Thank
Good luck.
you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, pal.
Okay, be well.
Good night.
Good night.
Okay, item number 6 is 89 John Street, a special permit to establish an apartment in the C2 mixed-use overlay district. Section block and lot is 48.330 -3-26, seeker determination. Zone C2, mixed-use overlay district, heritage area. It's also in the Stockade Historic District. Ward 2, Raymond Lippert is the applicant owner. Is there anybody besides the applicant owner wishing to speak on item number 6? Probably not. Okay.
No?
Okay, who do we have here representing?
I thought I saw.
The
Yeah,
wife.
there you are. I knew I saw you. Looking for the square.
Yeah.
Hi,
The wife
folks.
and himself is here too.
How we
Okay.
doing tonight?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. Okay, you just want to give us a little briefing on what you're looking to do?
Yeah, I can't get my husband to retire, and I'm terrified of him continuing to drive.
Okay.
So the lawyers upstairs retired. The building has a history of a lot of different uses, from residence to a firehouse to one big office space where they just divided up the offices and everyone went in and out the same ingress and egress. When Ray took the building over in the 90s, they divided the offices to upstairs and a downstairs with a fire rated ingress and egress and stairs for the upstairs. So some of that information should be in the building department's files. We're not sure how much fire separation was put in, but we know that that the door downstairs going to upstairs office is steel. So we imagine it's pretty solid, at least the ingress and egress. Right now, what we want to do is we want to put in a shower and we want to put in something I can cook in. That's about all we have designed at the moment.
Okay.
There's currently a female and a male bathroom upstairs. We're going to partially knock down the wall and make an enclave for the shower and an enclave for the toilet, and remove a wall that's between a closet area and the back office to have a kitchen area.
Okay. Good, nice. And jumping ahead here, I see that there are 3 parcels under the same ownership.
There
How
are.
are you handling parking? Is there a parking agreement in place for all? Because they're all sharing parking on these parcels, right?
Right, Ray owns all 3 parcels. That's the way they
Okay.
came down to him from, was it Matthews? who owned it
Matthews.
before? And we wanted to combine them because we're being taxed on each parcel separately. In fact, the little graveyard size was like assessed at like $5,000 at one point. Unfortunately, with the city of Kingston, you require a survey and planning board approval for that rather than just a combination of the outbounds on the deed. So we're not prepared for that cost at the time. The parking is landlocked. There wouldn't be anyone that we'd want to sell it out to. It's existing, it's in use for the offices. And it's adequate for both the use downstairs and the use being proposed.
Okay. So there are 3 separate parcels, right? They're all 3 separately taxed parcels?
Correct.
Okay. I think we're going to need a parking agreement in place just in case one of these buildings is sold, or and now there's no parking available for the new the new owners who are taking ownership. Sue, is that something that we're looking for? Am I on target with that?
It would just be, just a general agreement. You own all the parcels, but what it would do is it would protect the parking so that the off-street parking would remain available should at some point in the future you want to sell off this building independently. They would still have the rights for the parking and that would be carried forward.
And also, they wouldn't need to come back to another meeting to take care of this.
No,
They can just take care of this at staff level, right?
That would be handled in-house.
Okay. We're gonna make that part of the conditions then. Is everybody good with that?
Well, could I speak to that for a second?
Sure.
Yeah, just, we're in a primarily residential neighborhood. And the parking situation is a pre-existing non-conforming use, except for we actually conform. And we actually have more parking than any of our neighbors, and we're decreasing the intensity of the use. As I said, we could do a lot line revision with one of the neighbors, and they could acquire that back parking area, but it's unlikely.
We have a shared driveway there with the neighbor.
So there would
Don.
be,
And there's a shared, I think, right of way on that in terms of upkeep, which the 2 houses do.
Okay. Well, I mean, I think that, like I said, you're not going to have to come back for another meeting. If this is something that you can take care of, I'm sure we're going to be approving this tonight, but we can have you folks remain in contact with the planning staff to make sure that what we've talked about here is protected. Sue, that sounds good?
Yeah, we'll talk about it.
Yeah. All right. Is that okay, folks?
Yes, I think so.
Okay.
I'm new to this,
Okay. Well, you're doing a good job, let me tell you. All right. Any questions from the board?
No questions, Kevin.
Okay. Looks like we're going to need landlord registration, Sue, right? Is that correct?
Right. Well, again, this is a special permit that is being considered under the mixed use overlay district. So as far as a term limit would go, for the initial year, you are limited to 1 year. And
Okay.
When they come back, you can extend that longer. The other issue would just be attaching board policies, and we are recommending board policy 6, which is the certification, 17A, which is your landlord registration, 22, which is your carbon monoxide detector.
Sue, could you explain the landlord registration?
Right, it's a local law in the city of Kingston that you would it's just a registration with the building safety division when there's a unit.
Okay, well, this is going to be owner occupied, so it's not going to be a typical rental unit.
Okay, you might, okay, I'll double check that, but I
This is
will.
going to be our primary residence.
Okay, all right, I'll double check that, and if it's not necessary, we can, obviously it won't be applied, okay? So just again, 22, which is the carbon monoxide detector, 25, which is the Knox box. Do you know if you have a Knox box on that building at this point in time, Dara?
We don't. And, I talked to my husband at this, theoretically, we're not opposed to the issue. For a safety standpoint, it's pretty good. It's just, again, this is going to be our primary residence. And two, there's HIPAA issues with the records downstairs. Having access to officials with possibly duplicate keys and patient privacy could be a problem.
If I can,
I think we were leaning on the side that we were okay with the Knox box, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
If I can speak to that, the Knox box, I mean, the only keys that are issued are through the fire department. Okay, they're the only ones that have access to it, and you can put whatever keys you want into it. Where if you don't want access to certain areas, you can leave those keys out. Okay. It's just to prevent damage if there's, something going on after hours or you're away. And you can also, with this single Knox box, put keys into it for the other two parcels too. So, there's other doctor's offices or even residences around that have it, and it's been pretty secure since its inception, since they've been used on the fire department. So I just wanted to assure you of you have the right to put whatever keys you want in there. Okay.
All right. Sounds
Okay.
good.
All right.
Okay.
Any other questions from the board? Okay. I think it's wonderful what you're doing up there. I mean, that's an old firehouse, right?
Yeah.
It's wonderful what you're doing. I applaud you for that. Okay, so moving into seeker, this is a type 2 action. So no further review of the board is required at this time. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 6 with board policy 6. And we're going to check into if 17A would need to be applied. Also policy 22 and 25. We're also going to check about landlord registration with building safety. And also they're going to be in consultation with staff over the need of a parking agreement. And also the initial term will be 1 year. Have I missed anything, Sue?
26.
Oh, 26, I'm sorry. Okay. Board policy 26 will also be applied. Do I have a second on that?
Matt seconds.
Matt Gillis has a second. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. Folks, thank you for coming tonight. Good luck with everything there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Sue, in terms of the parking agreement, we're going to run that by our attorney.
Okay.
Would we have them contact you?
Yes, you can contact me, and then whatever we'll talk about it, and then we'll probably bring in maybe our attorney at the end.
Great. Thank
Okay.
you for your time, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay,
Thank you.
folks.
Thank you.
Good night. And will I get a copy of the?
Yes.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Okay, moving on to item number 7 is 24 John Street. It's a special permit amendment / renewal for an 8-room hotel and conversion of an existing garage / shed.
Wayne,
Yes.
if I can interrupt, we had talked about this a little earlier on. I did speak with Scott or sent him an email today. If we possibly move item number 9 up, it's 52 to 54 German Street. It's a simple placement of a small shed. Um,
Yeah,
and
no objections whatsoever.
All right, thanks, Scott. All right, so that's under new business. We'll move item number 9 up to current on the agenda then. It's 52 to 54 German Street. It's a site plan to construct a shed. Section block and lot is 56.42-15-9, seeker determination, zone RT, Roundout Historic District, Heritage Area Commission also. Ward 8, Alan Golgoski is the applicant owner. We have Mr. Golgoski here.
I believe, Alan, are you on Nadine's iPad? Alan, are you with us? If you're on by phone, can you *6 and unmute yourself?
Can you hear me?
Hi there.
Hello there. Yeah. Minor technicality, and this is, I'm like a monkey dribbling a football with this stuff.
It's been a while, Babs. How you doing?
I'm doing good, brother. I thought that you looked familiar.
Oh, all right. So, we got to do this, right? You got to, even though it's a shed, we got to do this.
Right.
So I got a picture here. I don't know, Kyla, do you need to throw a picture up? I got it on our notes here. I mean, if anybody else wants to see it. Maybe not.
This is Matt. Looks pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it does. It's a 12 by 20 shed. Looks really nice.
It's actually 12 by 18.
Oh, okay.
That's going in. The 12 by 20 was taken out of a catalog cut for the notes, but
okay,
it's going to be a little shorter in length. And it's received already the review and approvals of the Heritage Area Commission, Historic Landmarks Preservation Commission, and it's also gotten the zoning variance that it needed for the setbacks.
Okay.
Or use rather.
All right. All right. So any questions from the board other than what we've got in front of us here?
No,
okay.
No questions.
No questions.
All right. So under seeker, this is a type 2 action. No further review of the board is required of this. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 9 with board policy 6 to be signed on the application. That's it, Sue, right on the...
That is it.
Okay, that's a motion. Who has a second on that?
Kevin, second.
Kevin and Roach with the second, coming in there first. All right, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco?
Yes.
Matt Gillis?
Yes.
Kevin Roach?
Yes.
And Vince Archer?
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. Alan, take care, pal. Good hearing from you.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank each and every one of you. I appreciate everything that you did for me. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
All right.
All right, good night. All right, hopping back over to item number 7. 24 John Street, special permit amendment / renewal for an 8-room hotel and conversion of an existing garage / shed into additional hotel operations, check-in, and an accessible bathroom. Section block and lot is 48.331-4-2, seeker determination, zone C2, Stockade Historic District, Heritage Area, Ward 2, Hudson Valley Kingston Development LLC is the applicant owner. I know we have Scott here, Scott Dutton. Is anybody from the public wishing to speak on item number 7?
Wayne, you also have Charles Blakeman
Okay,
here.
I love Mr. Blakeman.
Hello.
Okay. Nobody else from the public, Sue?
No, no one else.
Okay. All right. You got the floor, fellas. Who you want to give us a little?
I'll go and I'll be brief.
Okay.
Final piece of the puzzle, a little garage structure that honestly, Charlie and I didn't discuss until recently as everything else got completed. He said, how can we put this to good use and clean it up? And the thinking was that it would be a nice secondary spot for the guests of 24 John and 270 Fair to be able to check in. Big picture, remember that this is not your typical hotel experience. They know when guests are arriving, so they don't need to staff it 24/7 with somebody at a desk, but it's an opportunity to greet somebody, give them a space to just relax while their bags are brought to their room, and put the garage to productive use. Charlie, is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, but it also, I guess, it also allows people to pull up with their cars off the street and check in for those two buildings, and then either park or the car can be moved from there, as opposed to double parking or being on the street trying to get into those buildings. So it's a convenience for the guests, but also makes for a better experience, and it's good for the, in terms of traffic and all that as well.
Okay. So no additional parking is going to be required for this, Sue, correct?
No, this is accessory type use, so it doesn't generate any new need for parking. It really is making an improvement on a building that is currently existing and really not being utilized to its potential. So it's an improvement.
So you're going to be on the agenda for landmarks and heritage area on July 1st. Is that correct?
I've lost track.
Yes, they're scheduled.
Okay. I should have just said you're on the agenda, right? You're on an agenda.
I know we've made all the submissions, but you know how it is.
Yeah, I got you.
Meetings every other night in different towns. It's in the calendar. So yes.
All right.
Not anticipating any issues there. The structures are individually listed on the National Register and State Register, and everything that we're doing is an improvement and is consistent with the Secretary of the Interior's guidelines.
Okay. And as I mentioned parking before, a little segue into my next question is where are we with the parking lot improvements on Lucas Avenue? I mean, you got anything on that, where we are?
Well,
yeah, we're awaiting our contractor to be available, which should be soon, I'm told. It's just like everything these days, doesn't have enough workers and doesn't have enough, so he's getting backed up, but I should be not next week, but in the next couple of weeks on his agenda to be able to start doing that. Meanwhile, people can park there if we need it, but it's just the improvements are going to be starting as soon as I can get him over there. I mean, he's scheduled to do it, but everything's getting backed up.
If you can just maintain some contact with, and maybe you already are, with planning office staff, just to let them know, keep them up to date and where you are with that whole thing too. And I know that's kind of like your center hub for all your what's going on with your buildings uptown, and you're doing a lot of wonderful things. I just wanted to see where we were with that whole thing.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Charlie, this is Sue. So would expect then that when the other properties that you have come up for renewal in September, that you'll have started or maybe completed the improvements?
I certainly hope so.
Okay.
Yeah, I would hope so. That's their intentions. I want that to.
Okay, good.
Okay,
good. Thank you.
So, hopefully. Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from the board? Okay. Under seeker, it's a type 2 action, so no further review of the board is required at this time. Sue, I'm looking at the notes here to discuss the term for the special permit and how to coincide with other applications that will be coming up for renewal in the coming months. What do you recommend we do for this.
Right. What we had hoped to do, and I had started kind of moving in this direction, was to pull all the various special permits for these similar type of uses that Mr. Blakeney has functioning in the Uptown area, specifically 301 Wall and 270 Fair. They expire in September of this year. However, we don't believe that it's necessary to, because this is an amendment, it would have expired in September, but we don't feel it's necessary to bring them back so quickly for obvious reasons. So I think that come September, when we review the other two, we would be considering a 2-year extension on those. If the parking lot is complete at that point in time, I think you might look at something longer. So I would say right now for 2 years from the September 16th date, which would bring you to September 16, 23.
Okay.
If that makes sense to everybody.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Everybody else on the board good with that? Okay, good. Okay. So at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 7 with the term to extend until September 16th, 2023. We're going to need board policy 6, right, on this, Sue?
Correct. We need that re-signed because it's an amendment, so it modifies the pre-existing conditions.
All right, and all the other conditions, I mean, do we even mention that right now? All the other conditions carried forward? And I think that covers it all. Yeah. Okay, that is a motion. Do I have a second?
Kevin, second.
Kevin Roach has a second. All in favor. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Kevin Roach.
Yes.
And Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved. All right. I know, Scott, you're going to be around for the next one. Mr. Blakeman, thank you so much.
Thank you, everybody.
All right, good seeing you.
Have a good night.
All right, good night.
Bye-bye.
All right, moving into old business. Item number 8 is 79 Hurley Avenue. It's a site plan to renovate and redevelop an existing building into a mixed-use commercial/office building. Section block and lot is 48.71-2-11. Secret determination, Zone C2, Ward 1, Higginsville Station LLC is the applicant owner. I know Scott Dutton's here. Do you have Mr. Ryan with you too?
Not sure if Bobby made it on. I think he's in the car. But,
okay. Okay. I know you touched on this a few months ago briefly, and we had a cut up of the, what the interior was going to look like. Have things changed? I mean, you want to just go into any, to this at all, or?
Only minor.
Yeah.
Refinements to improve the overall plan, develop the landscaping further as requested. In short, the county plans to extend the rail trail.
Okay.
We want to be a part of this and embrace that connection to the rail trail. This will effectively be trailhead. Since the Daily Freeman announced at the beginning of the pandemic that they no longer wanted to have the footprint that they did have, we just crossed our fingers and hoped that we could figure out a master plan that would be attractive to a number of tenants, and that has been the case. We have a brew pub, a distiller, a bike shop. I'm sure you read in the paper that Board of Elections is looking at occupying a portion of this building, and do a total freshen up on the site and take it from being a single purpose building to a vibrant, more sustainable multi-tenant building.
Good. Jumping around a little bit, signage for you're proposing some signage for the out by the street?
Yes, and Timely Signs would present a separate application for that, for a monument sign
Okay,
on Hurley Avenue. And we're in conversations about the rebranding of the building, and Timely will present an iconic logo that might be a building mounted sign.
okay.
Wayne, this is Wayne, if I could interrupt for just a moment. This is Kevin. Sue, as Scott just mentioned, this building possibly housing a county office. And since I work for the county, should I be involved?
I would say you probably should recuse. Yeah, I
Okay.
don't see that you have any direct financial gain because it's not a
Definitely
county
not.
application, or any direct interest, but we do have our alternates here, so we could fall back on them.
Okay, I'll recuse then. Thank you.
So Emily, you're hopping in on this, okay? Okay.
Yes.
All right. So as far as the signage goes, I know there's going to be a number of loose ends that, like the landscaping and the signage, some lighting or whatever. These are items that I'm confident can be handled on staff level, right? Is that something that you're comfortable with?
I am, yes.
Okay. And how about the rest of the board too with, okay. Okay. And if there's anything that you think needs to come back to the board for further review, we can certainly do that.
Scott, I did have a question on the parking. I know I had shared the notes. You asked for them earlier today. The 2 handicap parking spaces in the rear, what is the purpose of those? Are you located them there anticipating maybe a tenant having access back there in the future, or?
We do have tenants on the lower level in the rear.
Okay, all right.
So I think it's appropriate.
Okay.
And also, Wayne, this is Wayne Platt. Scott, the connection to the rail trail, what's that going to be? My picture doesn't really show. So I see what's the material going to be used there?
So we hired IES, Darren Dukoski, to design that connection. He left it open that it could be compacted stone dust or something like that. But
okay.
We're inclined to make that a paved surface.
Okay.
We calculated it as impervious surface.
Okay.
And that would be one of the details that we'd work out with Sue. I mean, we think that it's only appropriate for accessibility with a fully paved rail trail, 10 feet wide, 2 feet shoulders on either side. We're going to be providing essentially all of the parking for people, the general public.
Yeah.
That it should be paved.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Sue?
Just a couple of, one correction in the notes. I had initially relied on Google Maps and Earth to look at the site, and I was out there over the weekend, and there is a grass strip and a concrete sidewalk along Hurley Avenue, so it is not paved completely to the side or the curb line as I had expected. Scott, can we just talk about the storm drainage and what you're going to be doing to the lot out front? I know that there is a lot of landscaped areas being added. Are you just intending to use sheet drainage, or do you think that you might be putting in a couple of catch basins? Because we did look up the soils and they are suitable for catch basins or dry wells.
We're working with a sheet drain solution here. Darren, as you know, our civil engineer, works at DEP. So he studied all of that for us. Basically, the site is tipped as a table. and goes from Hurley Avenue back to a wetland area in the rear of the property. And in order to put drainage structures in, it would require a massive amount of regrading and repaving. There might be, as we refine the pavers right in front of some of the doors, some smaller drainage structures that move stormwater around, but everything effectively is headed down towards the wetland. And we are reducing the amount of impervious surface.
Right, yes, no.
Anybody else have any questions?
We need to go through the Ulster County Planning Board. And have you done a cost estimate for all of your site improvements, Scott, for?
I have not, but I can assure you it's over $25,000. So I know that we'll be posting a bond.
Okay, so you will need a bond that will have to get approved by the city engineer, and it will include a 10% contingency.
Yep. We've hired Gary Rober and Roush as the construction manager, and he's working on an estimate right now. When that estimate is in place, we'll share it with John.
Okay, Sue, going to the Ulster County Planning Board required modifications that were returned to us. I know we talked about some loose ends that can be handled at staff level. The lighting, are you confident that has been satisfied with your office?
But their requirement obviously followed the Engineering Society's recommendations and LED lighting, and that has been submitted.
Okay.
I believe all LED and full cutoffs are being used, correct, Scott?
Yes, currently the front portion of the site is covered by the Central Hudson Night Watchman program. And all new light fixtures under the canopies at the new entrances will be full cutoff LED. That's noted on the revised site plan.
Okay, so that's been complied with then, Sue?
Yes.
Okay. Moving ahead to signage, when that becomes more readily available, and Scott has been working with Timely Signs, he said, we're confident that that can be handled on staff level, so that can be deemed complied with as well.
If the board concurs coming back to staff, yeah.
I think we all gave a thumbs up to that before,
Okay.
right? Is that, we feel that way, guys, gals? Okay. Landscaping. How are we doing with that, Sue?
Well, the comment was that a landscaping plan needed to be submitted. There has been a landscaping design submitted that did show all of the planting types and numbers and locations. Just the one question that we had outstanding is that the bases around the plantings, how they're going to be treated, was not identified. So the question is, are they going to be mulched areas or grassed areas, Scott?
Mulched areas.
Okay, that was our only question.
Yep.
And the bicycles, I think I saw bike racks at the top of that connectivity to the rail trail, right?
Not only there, Wayne, all over the site.
Nobody's going to be without a bike rack there, so that's good.
We want to welcome everybody that wants to avail themselves of the rail trail to this site so that they can support our tenants there and enjoy the rail trail.
Okay, and I know that you've already said that some folks are going to be utilizing your parking lot to access the rail trail. On the notes here, it says to facilitate the connection. You've been coordinating with Ulster County DPW on that? That's the recommendation.
I actually started with the county exec's office a couple years back in Dennis Doyle, and they wholeheartedly supported us connecting there because their parking lot, because of site limitation, I think is limited to 8 spaces
Mm-hmm.
at Trailhead. And we're thinking that this is going to be one of the most exciting opportunities to jump on a nexus point where you can use the old view trail, connect to the Kingston Linear Park. Ultimately, when the trail comes down, connect to that. And those all connect to the Empire State Trail. So water finds its own level. We know that people are going to need a place to park, and we're not going to discourage it. We are going to encourage it.
Okay. It's also showing here, and you've probably seen the notes already, establishing a public access easement across your property to allow public use crossing of the private parcel. Is that something that's in the works too, or is that, what do you think about that?
We haven't discussed that, honestly. Something I can talk to Paul Keller, Mike Moriello, and Bob about.
Okay.
That is a county comment. That's from
Yeah.
that's one of the county's comments. So
Was that a required comment or a recommendation?
they were required modifications.
Okay.
I mean, based on the fact that Scott has been and Rob has been in consultation with the exec's office, and they are obviously establishing public access to this. Can we vote to override this required modification based on those facts?
You can, yes, you can vote to override it. I think, though, that it should be encouraged, that discussion is absolutely encouraged. You can recognize the applicant's openness to those discussions.
I mean, how does the rest of the board feel about that? Are we okay with overriding that and just have the applicant encourage him to continue with the consultation he has with the county with this? I'm good with that. Matt, you're good? And I can't see everybody on here, so.
Matt.
I'm good.
Vince, Chuck, Emily, all.
Emily's good.
Okay. Sage?
She's shaking her head, yes.
Okay, all right. So with the county comments, it looks like the lighting, the signage, the landscaping, and the bicycles has been complied with. So at this time, I'll make a motion. This is Wayne Platt, to override the rail trail, the required modification handed down by the county planning board, but also to note that to encourage the applicant to continue with consultation with the county to keep to establish the public access with the rail trail for public use. So that's a motion. Do I have a second on that?
Second, Chuck.
By Chuck Palaco. All in favor, Wayne Platt as a yes. Charles Palaco.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
Emily Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay, that is adopted. All right, into seeker. This is considered an unlisted action, right, Sue? So
Yes.
we need to have a determination of environmental significance. We have that form submitted. Okay, it's in order.
Yes, it is.
Okay. So any questions on seeker from anybody? With that, okay. At this time, I'll make a motion that we approve it. This is Wayne Platt. Do I have a second on that? Second by Charles Palaco. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco.
Yes.
Matt Gillis.
Yes.
Vince Archer.
Yes.
Emily Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay, that is adopted. All right, now we got to tie this all together, Sue, right? Anybody else have any questions? I think we're ready to move on to approving this. No? Okay. All right, so at this time, I will make a motion that we approve item number 8. And Sue, you have a laundry list of conditions on there? You want to?
I do. I'm just going back through a couple of my notes. What I have are board policies 2, 3, 3A, 3B, 4, 4A, 6, 7, 7A, 10, 14, 15, 19, 25, and 26. That the applicant will work with staff to return with a finalized landscape and signage plans. And I believe that is it.
Do we got to mention the bond and all that?
Oh, yes, thank you very much. And the bond.
Okay. All right. So that is a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Charles Palaco. All in favor, Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Vince Archer,
Yes.
and Emily Hamilton.
Yes.
Okay, that is approved.
I
All
wanna
right.
Thank the board and assure you that this is our next passion project, and encourage you to take a drive by Pine Grove Avenue, see what we've done there, and stay tuned for more. So,
All right, good job, Scott, and say hi to Bob too, will you?
take care.
All right, good night.
Night.
All right, Kevin, you're back in. All right, we moving back into new business. Item number 10 is 132 Lindsay Avenue. Site plan to establish a 12-room hotel with restaurant and event use and to renovate a second structure into a 2-dwelling residence. Section block and lot as 56.28-1-4.2. Seeker determination, zone RRR, coastal zone. It's on the National Register. Ward 8, 132 Lindsley Avenue LLC is the applicant owner. Okay. Let's. Who do we have from 132?
We have Zach,
This is
Joe, Ariel. Is Christina on? Or
she may or
there she is.
Hi guys, yeah, there she is.
I hear her.
I think that is all, correct? Am I missing anybody?
Kevin McManus may be on.
Oh, Kevin, are you on? Yeah, I think you would be on by phone.
Welcome, everybody.
Hi, Kevin McManus, sorry.
Yep, he's on by phone.
Okay. Hi, Kevin.
Hi.
All right. So this is the old courts mansion, and I know we've touched on it, discussing the 200 North Street project, but this is a whole separate thing going on here. So whoever wants to jump in, why don't you give us an overview of what is proposed here?
Joe. Go ahead. I think this is Joe Ariel. This is a you've described the application. It's long ground changes. We're going to so we need to be
Joe, this is Sue. I'm sorry to interrupt. You're really breaking up. If you are not speaking, can you, anybody who's not speaking, please mute themselves. And maybe that will help with the feedback.
Yes, I've done that too. I'm in heavy thunderstorms. I'm going to be a little dicey, so I'm actually going to I'm going to mute and hopefully get through this without needing much from the lawyer.
Okay, all right.
I can take us through it too. It's no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, Zach,
much better. Thanks, Zach.
Did you want to Kevin?
Zach, you're gonna take it over?
Yeah, sorry, my audio went there for a second. I'm having issues on my own. Okay, yeah, I can
unless Kevin wanted to get us started, I can get us started for sure.
Hey, Jack,
did you want
Zach, just go ahead. Just go ahead, Zach.
All right, great. Excellent. Okay. So let me see here. This is Kyla. Are you sharing your screen?
Yes.
Did you share mine, or did you want me to just go this way? We're like,
Okay. One second. Where you're okay. There's two KDA and FD guests, so I'm just gonna make one of you.
all right, yeah, try it, and then I'll try it.
Okay.
Yep.
Try it now.
You got it.
Okay.
That was the right one. Okay, great. Thank you. So just a quick overview of what we're doing. We're doing some overall site improvements. We're doing some improvements to the mansion structure, and we're doing improvements to the carriage house structure. So I'll show those structures here. Let me just run through. This is the existing site plan we're looking at. Here is the mansion, of course, and here is the carriage house. And so what we are proposing to do is, at the mansion, we're proposing to take this building and use it as a part of the hotel. So the second and third floors would be hotel guests, 12 keys in total, and the first floor is devoted to restaurant and some conference rooms. So think of it as kind of the lobby restaurant thing. In order to do that, we are proposing a ADA ramp. I'll show you guys what it looks like. We've made it as tasteful as possible. And we're proposing some modifications to the existing sun porch right here in this corner of the building, to raise that floor up to the floor level of the first floor, again for ADA compliance. So that's basically the building. I'll bring us over to the carriage house. You can think of it as two dwelling units. One is this larger rectangle here. The other one is this smaller rectangle. The larger is proposed to be a private single-family dwelling, and the smaller is proposed to be a guest house serving that single-family dwelling. The site has a few improvements, one of them being a privacy fence that separates the two structures. Another is a stone dust path that connects to the Lindsley Ave Trail at 200 North Street. And we're doing some repairs to an existing retaining wall. In addition to that, we are also with utilities. We are proposing a water line upgrade down here. We are proposing an electrical upgrade, removing the existing utility poles, which would be very nice for the site, and proposing an underground service there. The water to like I already mentioned that, the water to the courts mansion, and that's really it. We have natural gas, our sewer is good, and that's pretty much the project. And I'll show some elevations. Here's
Zach,
this ramp.
Zach, could you go back to the utilities? How is the carriage house connected with utilities? I saw water. How is sewer connected? There's
So we did some ground penetrating radar and we found a sanitation line going out. And so here on the plan, we have an assumed cesspit. That's how we assume it's working today, and we're not proposing any modifications to that.
Are you going to verify that, or, I mean, I'm curious.
Yeah, we'll make whatever whatever we have to do for DOH approval.
Yeah, there are dye tests, Sue, that can be done that verify that the system is functioning.
Right.
We'd be happy to do that and have an engineer's report to that effect.
Okay. Thanks, Kevin. Okay.
I can field any other questions that board members may have. I mean, that was pretty much it. Or I can go back to the elevations if you guys want to take a look at what we're proposing here. So hold on. Go existing elevation. We're proposing some general improvements. This was this is work that is not historic. These two boxes here has no historic significance. When you see it, you know. It was done over the weekend from Home Depot, that kind of stuff. So we are proposing improving that elevation. Behind this door is where guests would enter into the reception, and here we have our ramp. Trying to be as tasteful with it as possible here at the bottom. So fairly simple on the mansion, and that's really all we're proposing for the exterior changes. So then we have the carriage house. Here's an existing look at it, and here's a proposed. We are just proposing a screened-in porch in the same style of the Second Empire, as if they would have wanted to add on to this at the time, it would look very similar to the porch I was showing you here in the mansion. So that's just kind of our architectural approach to adding something to it while keeping its historical significance. Though this little addition, keep in mind, is almost invisible on the site. You can't really ever see it, being that it's here in this corner. All sight lines are blocked. So any kind of historical significance, any kind of change historically would be only when you walk around either corner, and you really can't because there's a big drop off. So we feel like it's a very tasteful, nice place to improve on the existing carriage house.
So nothing's going to have to go before Landmarks Commission on that?
No, this is on the agenda for landmarks.
Okay.
For July 1st, this is on their calendar for review. Okay. The only visible piece is that pretty much the ramp, ADA ramp.
Okay. If we could talk about the path that connects to the 200 North Street path.
Yeah.
Is that going to be used just primarily for guests of the hotel to go down and access the river?
Yes, except when we say guests, they will not be driving. As we had in our 200 North Street application, only Salt Hotel staff will be driving electric vehicles. They bought this fleet of adorable little vehicles,
okay.
And those are the only vehicles that go down there. They're all electric, so there's really nothing gas powered even going down those things.
Okay, so
that would be the purpose.
Okay, so it's just basically being used for people who are staying at the Courts Mansion to go down via these electric vehicles down to enjoy the waterfront. Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly right. And
Okay.
I think I can, I think we need to talk about all of the operations of this thing. However, and I would like to I think submit something in writing there where we can really get to there. So, but I can speak to the overall story that a guest will experience. So
Okay.
here they'll come in Lindsley Ave, and they're going to come around and they're parking here in these 5 spaces.
Okay.
And from there, they walk into the building. And at that point, as soon as they open that door, really even before, they just, before that, the staff already know they're there, essentially. So once they're pulling up Lindsley, they'll know, and they'll be in Salt's hands from that point on. So once they park here, they go in and check in, and then they get taken on a fun little ride in the woods all the way down to North Street.
Okay.
And then their car that was here, sorry, I just want to finish the narrative. The car that was parked here then gets valeted by staff over to the 200 North Street parking lot.
Okay. How do they get down there? Is there a direct access to there, or are they going back down Lindsley to Delaware?
They're using the existing roadways.
Okay.
Existing roadways. Yeah.
Okay.
On the parking, Zach, this is Sue. On the parking, the restaurant, it's stated in the application that that's going to be open and available to the public. So how would the public then, is it reservation only possibly, but then how would the public parking be handled by valet as well? And also then all those moved over to that lot? And is there enough capacity in that lot if your restaurant is full, your hotel is full, and all your glamping uses are going on at the same time?
Understood. And I think that is that's something we definitely will address in our site operations, because it's a good question.
Okay.
But Sue, keep in mind that the extent of the parking that exists down at 200 North Street is thousands of cars. So even with all those things, as long as we're not having a field supply or a concert, those things will be dealt with. But like Zach said, we need to submit to you a comprehensive management plan for this as well, so that you can show that we fleshed this out.
Right.
Okay. The carriage house there, you say it's going to be a single family dwelling with guest house attached to that. So that's not going to be transient housing, right? That's going to be somebody is it going to be a caretaker or something, or what's your plan for that?
So the plan is to adaptively reuse this site in 2 ways, right? One of them is for the hotel, and then the other is for single family residents. So I would kind of view this as like a standalone just for a moment, as if it's its own lot, and think about the way that it would operate. It's pretty much like that, where you would have a primary resident, and if they had a guest coming over, then they would stay in that guest house. Will there be transient residency in this guest house? Let me get you an answer on that, because if that's going to be the case, then we would like to obviously prepare for that.
I mean, I'm assuming that, the term guest house means that it's folks who may be associated with the primary residents who would be staying there, I would imagine. Is that correct?
That's the first and foremost intent, but I also don't know if perhaps, in a scenario where the primary owner was away, then maybe that room could be guest accommodations. That's kind of a weird, hey, can we use that for a second? But perhaps they do. So I'll add that to the list of answers I'll have on the next meeting.
Okay, good.
Just a note, I had in the staff notes the question about ADA and the need for an elevator. And I have confirmed with building department that the, nothing requires the installation of the elevator in the building. That's, I believe, because of its historic designation. But I believe they also said that in their last communication with you, Christina, that you were trying to get an exemption from SHPO on having to build the ramp along the driveway and raise the porch floor. And they were asking about the status of that.
That's correct. We're pursuing that, but we don't have an answer on that as of yet. So we're proposing, the design that at the moment that we know that will meet the requirements.
Okay.
Zach, as far as the restaurant use and everything associated with the hotel, deliveries are, I'm thinking will be handled through 200 North Street and then ferried up by the electric carts. Is that a safe assumption there too?
Absolutely. It is. That's exactly right. SALT will be in control, and again, we'll talk about this in the site operations because they'll know more about. You'll be more clear, but it is my understanding that all deliveries come in at 188. It's appropriate for that street, I think.
Okay.
And then they unload. They're in that back of house 188 building, and then SALT controls the deliveries. So they're going to do it like when the guests are still sleeping, 7 o'clock in the morning. That's when that's when probably a van would come up Lindsley, move into here, and then we have an existing Bilco door here where we'll just unload right into the basement and be out of the guest's way by the time they start waking up. It's kind of.
And refuse, and the refuse heading back out in the same van, maybe on the, they drop off.
That's exactly the thought. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Just bring that garbage right back down to 188 for sure.
Okay. You want to talk to the traffic analysis done?
Well, in my comments, they did submit a traffic analysis that was done by Chazen. Chazen had done a similar traffic analysis when we went through the establishment of the Lindsley Avenue parking lot.
Okay.
Analysis that was done for this proposal didn't fold into that cumulatively. The numbers that were generated for the Lindsley Avenue parking lot. So I just basically added them together to see where they, in terms of the thresholds. I think that I would like to just get a confirmation that there might be some overlap, but just adding them in, they don't exceed the thresholds. They come a little bit closer, but they don't exceed what the ITE guidance has for the intersection with Delaware Avenue.
Okay.
So we'll have them modify the report accordingly and resubmit it.
Thank you.
You're 100% right.
Okay.
A question for Zach, I guess, or maybe Kevin, because this is now becoming the check-in, is this becoming the check-in for the glamping as well? And then are you going to then be removing the trailer from the parking lot at Lindsley, or is that are they going to be separate functions?
It's the same function. So I don't want to speak to the trailer specifically, but that check-in for the entire site will be at Edgewood. That is the goal, is to have everybody checking in, whether they're a guest at Edgewood or whether they're a guest all the way down at the waterfront.
But you don't know if the trailer then will be removed from the other location or not at this point.
Right.
Well, it wouldn't. Yeah, we can confirm that, but there would be no need for the trailer there, and it takes up space. So, and it might enable us to get a few more parking spaces. So, it makes sense to get it out of there once this gets approved for both uses. If this gets approved for both uses.
Great.
So this still has to be referred to county, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. And that's based on it being on the National Register, or what's that all about?
Yeah, what we do monthly is we send our agenda up prior to our meeting and ask the county which ones they require referral on, just so that we cover that and we don't miss something. And they sent it back that this one needs it. I can confirm their absolute reasoning, but I suspect that that's part of the reason. Yes.
Okay, all right. So basically, this is really I can consider it a gateway meeting, right? To just go over briefly what the plan is, and I mean, we're going to be tabling today, and they're going to be coming back with additional information that we've requested that they've also identified. Do we need to go through the rest of your notes tonight still on this, or can we just wait for the next meeting?
I would suggest that we'll send them a copy of our staff notes, obviously.
Okay.
Some notes from this meeting. I'd like to open it up to other board members to ask board members if you have any particular questions.
Yeah, I was going to do that too.
The only other thing that we did put out there in the notes is whether or not the board wants to schedule a public hearing on this for the next meeting. I will say it's not required by any code that we hold one. It would just be up to the board if you feel that one is necessary. One point I would make is that the public can still submit comment. If you're doing this until next month, the opportunity to look at the drawings online, and then they can submit any comment to us in writing before the next.
I think, Sue, this is Joe Ariel. If I'm hearing you right, I think is the point you're making that public comment, even if there's no formal public hearing required, public comment can and will be received on the matter. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. Yeah.
This is Wayne Platt. I'm inclined not to schedule a public hearing on it, and like you just said, and Joe confirmed with that, that the public still will have input on it as they normally do with all projects that we have here. So they can certainly weigh in on it, but I don't think that this necessarily warrants a public hearing. I don't know how the rest of the board feels. So you want to go, Chuck? What do you think?
I don't think we need a formal.
Okay. Kevin?
I'm in agreement. Thank you.
All right, Matt?
I agree. We don't need this.
All right, Vince?
Yes, I'm in agreement as well.
All right, Emily?
I didn't know I still had to vote.
What's that?
I didn't know I still had to vote.
No, this isn't a vote. I just want to get a feel from the whole board, whether you're a voting member or an alternate. I want everybody get input on this.
Just one of the concerns I have is I was there yesterday and I didn't even really know this property existed because it's kind of hidden on a dead end. And just being able to have for public in some way to have access to that, to the view, although it's very forested, but there's a nice view from up there and you don't get that kind of height anywhere else in Kingston. I don't know. So I guess the public will comment if they, they feel that they need to.
But even though you're mentioning that, you still as a board member, even as an alternate, you still have, certainly the right to even ask these questions of the applicant. Don't think that because you're not voting on a particular matter, or you're not in that you're exempt from any comment of your own. And I want to extend that to Sage as well. So you can certainly bring up any of these issues that you think are germane to this project or any other project that we have.
No, and I did that last time.
Yeah.
In the last meeting. But.
Yeah. But as far as an official public hearing, how do you feel? I mean, are you okay with not having one? It's not required for this project, but
if the public is aware of the project. It's been in the paper. You know, it's not that hasn't been in the public eye. I guess, you know, they will comment. So
Yeah.
no, it's not necessary.
And they still have the you know, the right or the, you know, to submit comment
Right.
for this project, even though there isn't a public hearing per
Right.
se. Okay. All right. How about you, Sage? You good with not scheduling one?
Sure, I'm in agreement.
Okay. All right.
May I ask, and I apologize, did I interrupt that straw poll there? Is there any?
No, I think we've all concurred that we're not looking to schedule one.
So thank you. And I appreciate, I think the board knows that we appreciate the particular comment that was raised with respect to the location of the site and the views. And it's been a subject of comment that we've tried to be very responsive to and will always be, because it's in our interest as well. So, but another point, I wonder, could we kick off secret tonight? I know, as you said, there'll be some more submissions in answer to questions, but I don't think it'll be particularly controversial that the planning board would act as the lead here as it has before. Can we get that clock going?
Well, there is no clock, Joe. This is unlisted action. It's with the new SEGA regs, it would be considered unlisted. So each agency would be independently looking at their own determinations.
Yeah, no, you're right. I misspoke a little bit. I get used to using that word. I guess what I just meant is really what you just said. I wanted to get that on the record. The status of the project is unlisted under the regs. Yeah.
Okay. But one thing that Emily, when she was talking, came up in my mind, and that's signage. And we didn't put it in the staff notes, and I don't know if any thought has been given to putting any signage, particularly down at Delaware. And if you're going to have like a public restaurant or, you know, just directional signage, that is something that I'd want to see a plan for this site. Okay, in particular this site, but it would also be something that could be used in combination for the parking area at the end for other individuals.
Absolutely. You'll see that on the next submission.
Okay.
And Emily, your question on, you know, the view shed and you know, with the public accessing this area, this property, is that something you want to talk about tonight, or do you want to hold on to that, or do you, I don't want to think that your question was dismissed, you know, for a further meeting. If you want to talk about that and ask the applicants, you know, a question on that, you're certainly free to do that right now.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind the applicant addressing that.
Yeah, so if I understand, can you repeat the question, please?
So I
remember it was about looking at the scenery, but I don't remember. I don't know how to address it necessarily.
It's almost like a park up there. It's very calm and it's at a higher elevation. I actually didn't get out of my car because somebody came out of the hotel, what will be the hotel building. What's the planned hotel building? I'm not sure do what, maybe to tell me to leave, I'm not sure, but I didn't get out of my car. I didn't feel comfortable. And
you didn't have your planning board badge on you?
Yeah, I didn't.
No? All right.
And since I'm new to the planning board, I'm just getting used to all this. So anyway, I just was thinking, you know, is this property going to be very exclusive? And it seems like it might be, especially with the lack of parking available. Or perhaps maybe people could walk up. I just don't know how you as the owner or how the owner will address that.
Yeah, so this is Kevin McManus. I don't think that the owner contemplated that there would be a public access for any viewing. It's been a private property for many years, and so we understand. I understand your comment, and it is a spectacular spot. But currently, there's no plan for a public access to go to some view area. But your comments noted, and we'll have to discuss it with them.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Emily, for that. All right, Sue, do we have anything else tonight on for this that's popping up right now? Because I know we're going to be tabling because it still has to be referred to county, and the applicants are going to be coming back with some additional information for the board. Anything you need to?
Like I said, I think we'll send our staff notes. We've taken, obviously, there's been some points that were raised tonight that aren't in there, so those will be addressed as well, and we'll just bring it back next month. I don't have anything really significant unless any other board member has any comments that they want to raise or questions or concerns.
Chuck, I'd be interested in a walkthrough if that's possible.
Absolutely, Chuck.
Okay, maybe we can schedule something with a doodle poll or whatever. We can open that up for the rest of the board too, who's ever interested in going. Good idea. It's been a while since I've been up there too, so. Anybody else? Okay.
No other questions at this time?
All right. Folks, thank you. Zach,
Thank
Kevin,
you.
Christine, thank you so much. We will be looking forward to working with you on this and all the comments and work going into this. So at this time, I will. Do we need a motion to refer to this to county? This is already done, right? Go ahead.
Kevin has his hand up.
Oh,
Kevin, you want to say something?
No, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong number. Sorry.
Okay. Just checking.
All right. All right. So at this time, I'll make a motion that we table item number 10 and refer it to county. Do I have a second on that?
Second.
Second by Chuck Polacco. All in favor? Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Polacco?
Yes.
Matt Gillis?
Yes.
Kevin Roach?
Yes.
Vince Archer?
Yes.
Okay, that is adopted. Okay, thank you, folks.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right,
you. Sorry about the technical difficulties on my end.
That's all right. You cleared it up. That's good. That's okay. All right. Anything else, Sue, before the board tonight?
Just quickly, I wanted to get a feeling, Lucas Avenue, Bluestone Commons, we need to just quickly discuss that, whether or not you want to schedule a special meeting for that project or not. We have received back the zoning interpretation from the zoning enforcement officer. It's been passed on to the applicants. The only thing that remains significantly outstanding is the final details that John Schulteis, the city engineer, is waiting for from their engineer. So we're going to reach back out to them again and just ask them to make sure that they get that to him. But I think I get a little bit of a feeling from board members. Do you want to schedule it at a regular meeting, or do you want us to start working with the applicant to set up a special meeting? Because it will take a significant amount of time, I think, going through the seeker form on that particular one, and then going through all of the particular site details and questions answered, making sure that the record reflects answering all of the questions that have been raised by the general public. So my recommendation would be a specific special meeting, but I wanted to get a feel for the board and what they thought.
I'm good with a special meeting on that. I think that's a good idea.
Question, this is Kevin. Just, we sometimes, although I don't think it's happened since I've been here, skip summer meetings. So I didn't know if that was.
August is when we skip a meeting.
Just August. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
But Sue, this is Vince. I concur with the separate meeting. Because
Okay.
like you said, it's probably going to be lengthy.
This is Matt. I agree with that also.
Yep.
Okay.
Kevin also.
This is Chuck. I agree also. One question. Have we closed the public hearing on that yet?
On that, no, we have not.
Can we do that now or do we have to wait?
It has to be, you'd have to have the item scheduled on the agenda, and we do not.
Okay, okay.
Emily, you're good with a special meeting?
Yes, that makes sense.
All right, Sage too?
Yes, I'm fine with it.
Okay. All right, it looks like we're a go, Sue, for a special meeting.
Okay, very good.
Okay,
I have nothing further unless anybody has something.
I guess that's it.
I have one question relative to Lindsley Avenue. That's a city street, correct?
Yes,
Yes.
it is.
Okay, because I know Emily said she went up there and she was confronted with somebody there, similar
well-
to North Street. I
Well-
went down to North Street and there was somebody at the gate
Oh,
kind of chasing you away. But I'm not sure how that's, I'm
Probably-
assuming it's going to work then like the North Street access. It's going to be private to them.
There is no gate across it.
Not Lindsley, but there is a gate on North Street.
Right, but not on Lindsley. I'm talking about Lindsley.
Okay.
And Emily, were you all the way up top going into that loop that goes around by the building? Is that where you were?
yes,
when
I
you-
was looping around and I thought of stopping, but then this woman came out and I thought, maybe I should just keep going.
Well, I mean, you may have crossed the threshold where the city right of way ends and the private property begins. So
I thought the city right away ends at the end of the road where the dirt boundary begins. Because when we went up there last year, I think, for a site visit. And I think, Sue, you brought up the question.
It
I'm
extends
not-
all the way. It extends beyond where their new lot is.
Right.
To the very end of where their new lot is. So it goes beyond where the gate to Court's Mansion is. And then the pavement stops and it becomes dirt, but there's
Yes.
no part of the right of way beyond that.
Correct.
So maybe that's a good question or a good concern, Vince. Maybe, as this thing moves forward, we can, have a delineation of where the public right of way ends and where their property begins. I think that would be.
Because my concern, we never did come to a conclusion on that issue on North Street, but
Yeah.
anyway,
Well,
that was
I
just
think
my
with
sense.
with North Street, I think that we kind of just said that it's being worked on by other departments and it was basically going to be out of our purview for that. So, but as far as, Lindsley Avenue goes, I think it's appropriate that we find out where the city right of way ends and where their private property begins. So that's a good point. And don't forget your planning board badge ever again, Emily, okay?
Okay, I'll wear it with confidence next time.
All right. Anybody else? Okay. This time we'll make a motion that we adjourn. Do I have a second?
Matt seconds.
Matt Gillis is a second. Wayne Platt is a yes. Charles Palaco,
Yes.
Matt Gillis,
Yes.
Kevin Roach,
Yes.
and Vince Archer.
Yes.
Okay, it is adopted. Sage, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Hopefully, within a few months or so, we'll be back at City Hall in face-to-face and back to some type of normalcy. So, yes, welcome aboard. And everybody, thank you so much for everything tonight and your questions. And we will see you at a special meeting in between now and the next regular meeting. Okay? All right.
Okay.
Good night,
Thanks,
folks.
everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Good night.